Welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey toward publication. I'm Rhonda Hagerman, and I write fiction and nonfiction.
I am Jennifer Carl Tong, and I write historical Christian romance.
I'm Christina Catane, and I write in multiple genres, including Christian dystopian fiction.
I'm Jamie Hirschberger. I write short fiction under the pen name J.R. Nichols.
Good morning, ladies, and thank you to
Morning.
everybody out there who is listening live. And thank you to everybody who listens on the other platforms that we appear on. So if you're on YouTube, you can like and subscribe, and always be assured to know when we're going live again. So before we get started with the What's Up, we have a huge announcement at the end of the broadcast today. So stay tuned. Very exciting for me anyway.
And we never over-exaggerate, ever. Never in a million years.
No,
We don't
I have
even know
never
what-
ever exaggerated.
We don't even know what hyperbole means.
No.
Yeah,
Or hyperbole.
that one too, for real.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the epitome of what I do not know.
Yes.
Okay, so we like to start each episode with a segment we call What's Up? So it's a time to check in with everybody and see where we are with our writing and our personal lives. So, Jen, you first.
Me first. Okay. So I have announcements the ladies don't even know. And most people aren't going to care about. Tina will probably care the most. I have officially left my doctor. Done. Okay, so anyone watching they're like, so? Okay, so I've been with this doctor for like 15 years, and he has zero bedside manner. Super sarcastic.
I can
Yes.
testify.
Tina used to work for him before I started going to him, though. But like the sarcasm kind of is like it's kind of my love language. And so I could deal with him, and like I would give it back to him. And I've gotten to like where I figured out like how he works, kind of. But he also would go in sometimes and he'd be super grumpy for no reason. Well, anyway, I had a doctor's appointment. I have to go for sure once every 3 months, once a month if we're doing kind of like a whole wellness check, my weight and everything. And because of how much weight I'd packed on during my like being depressed about losing my aunt, I've been going in every month. And I was in the shower yesterday, and all of a sudden I was like, when is my doctor's appointment? And I come running out. I mean, I finished showering. I came running out and looked at my planner, and it was that day. And normally I have it on my phone and it beeps at me, and it didn't beep at me. So I was completely caught off guard. So I called because I'd also planned a homeschool outing with my daughter and some of the other homeschoolers. And so I called, and they said, yeah, you can reschedule. No big deal. So I finished getting ready, and I'm doing podcast things for today. And I get a phone call from the doctor's office, and they say, doctor wants you to come in right now. And I'm like, what's the matter? And they're like, well, he doesn't want you to come in next week. He wants you to come in now. And I could tell, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then a little bit later, the phone rings again, and someone else from the office. And she's like, did someone call you and tell you the doctor wants you to come in? I'm like, yes. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. And I said, well, this is what I have going on. And I'm like all like flustered at this point. And she says, let me go talk to him. I don't think he understood that you also had something else going on. I said, okay. She comes back, and you could tell that she's like she's like, he says you have to come in today. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, he says you have to come in today. Now here's what I know what's going on. He's just ticked because his schedule is off. I've been with him for 15 years. I've missed one appointment besides this one. And I'm like, and I know these girls, and I'm like, I'm done. And so anyways, I got off, and I'm like all flustered. I'm trying to figure out, where's my daughter going to fit into whose car? And is it going to be okay that I'm not going, one less adult, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I'm like, he's not my boss. Like, he can't tell me what to do. So I get back on the phone, and I called the office, and I said, whatever you have to charge me, I'm just going to pay it. And I'm not coming in, and don't schedule me next week. And
Wow.
there was this long silence because this woman who knows me well, 15 years, she's like, I will take care of all of that. Like, she just knew. She was like, almost like she was like, I understand, kind of a thing. So I am now on the hunt for a new doctor. I have 2 that I'm going to go see like for an interview. And yeah, so most people watching this don't really understand, but Tina is like, she's over there smiling. She's like,
Mhm.
she can't believe I was there for 15 years. Like it's
Mhm.
about time that I like left this guy.
Yeah,
Right?
she's chiming in the chat. What a horrible petty man. And it
Yeah.
kind of makes me feel
Mhm.
bad for those poor girls who work for him. Like
Oh,
they're in a sad, codependent kind of a relationship. I feel bad. I hope that they can get out.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's the turnover rate that he has there. Like every time I go, I don't know the nurses. The only people that
Mhm.
stay are the 2 that are up front, and they never look happy. I love them. They're very nice. But they also will shout right back at him, which is like not very professional, but like whatever. So
Mhm.
yeah.
My son-in-law had his gallbladder out a couple years, and he just coincidentally used the same doctor. Same
Mm.
experience. I mean, not being called in,
Everybody.
but just, yeah,
Everybody
it's
says,
terrible.
everybody's like, I can't believe you can stay with him as a doctor. And I'm like, oh no, it's fine. No, it's not fine. It really isn't. But the thing that kept me there for so long is the medical issues that I have, like switching to a new doctor. Now I have to go through everything else. I'm probably gonna have to go, but maybe it's good. I really know that God does things for a reason. And the other thing, and people are gonna be like, what? My doctor doesn't send me for cancer screening every year.
What?
Right.
You were
And I
right.
talked to him about it, and I said, everyone says I should have a cancer doctor and I should get screened once a year. He goes, do you still have cancer? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, you don't have a thyroid anymore. You can't have cancer. You can't have thyroid cancer anymore. And that's the kind of cancer you had. You're fine. So probably we'll be going and getting like all physical. So it's probably a really good thing that this is happening. So praise God that I live in an area and I have a husband who has good insurance and there are lots of doctors and God's
Mhm.
going to lead me to the right one. So,
Yep. And I will tell you who that is after the
okay.
podcast.
All right, great.
And I don't mean to brag, but I was the only nurse he ever liked.
Probably. And who
I'm
wouldn't like you,
sure
Tina?
you yelled back.
I didn't know. I didn't yell. I killed him with kindness.
Okay. Who's next? Tina, go ahead.
Oh, well, staying on the medical track, I had surgery on Monday. So, and I'm feeling a lot better than I was. And
Yay.
I'm not at 100% yet, but I'm a lot better. So that's
Wonderful.
kind of dominated my life for the last couple of weeks. The fact that I've been feeling well and trying to get better and all that. So, and I
Well,
have
we're glad to have you back.
biopsy results on the 16th. So
Okay.
that's all I got.
All right. Jamie?
I have been just having a really nice time decorating. I had some art and stuff that I needed to hang around the house, and I got some little accessories and doodads to put with it. So I'm just having a fun time with that kind of stuff and enjoying the beautiful spring weather down here. I'm not sure if it's warmed up much for you guys up there. How's the spring coming along?
Well, we were enjoying it until this morning when it started snowing again.
I know you said you had 45 degrees last
Yes.
time we checked in there. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
But this
man, it's
weekend
been so
supposed to be in
beautiful
the
here.
50s, So
Well, just because
Yes.
it's snowing doesn't mean it's not beautiful here. I guess it's all about perspective, right? I'm inside a nice warm house and looking out the pretty whiteness. But if I had to
That's
be out in
fine.
this, I'd be hating it. So
But you know, those people that gamble with what it's going to be tomorrow say it's going to be in the 50s.
I heard
Ooh.
that it's going to be in the 60s on Sunday.
Yes, I heard that
Oh,
too.
man, that's
I'm
wonderful. Spring is a wonderful time of year. You feel everything is all renewing. It's wonderful. So I've just been enjoying the beautiful weather. How about you, Rhonda? What's up with you this week?
Well, this sort of goes along with our the title of our podcast.
Oh, perfect. It'll be a good transition.
Yes. Okay. So, at the beginning of this year, one of my goals for the year was to get my genealogy certification. And so one of the things that I have to do is for the second portion of it, I have to be able to translate certain old documents in the most common language for my general area. And
Wow.
it's the Great Lakes. And it happens to be German. So I know like 3 words in German, but I've been using Duolingo, that app, to learn a little bit more before I get real serious about it. But anyway, so I've been practicing my German for the last couple weeks. And so I feel I can confidently say the title of our podcast today. So, and that is Gesundheit. What did I do? How did I-
Perfect. It's
Okay.
wonderful.
All right. So this week we're going to talk about staying healthy as a writer. And in the news here in America, the media wants us to be all in a panic about the virus which shall not be named. Okay.
Mhm.
Why can't it be named?
We just don't want to add to the panic out there.
Oh, okay.
People are panicking, and some people are paralyzed with fear. I'm in Facebook groups with people who are just really afraid because of what they've been hearing in the media. And I also just want to touch on Sage is mentioning that she has seasonal affective disorder, the SAD,
Oh,
and she's going into autumn where she is. So she's kind of having a little bit of anxiety. And I hear you, Sage. I mean, I didn't come to Florida because I like hot weather. I came to Florida because I get the seasonal affective thing. So you and I are kindred spirits in that way, sadly. And I'm so glad to hear her say she's looking forward to the podcast because we're positive. So hopefully this feels like some strategies you can use.
yes, hopefully. And another reason we don't want to name the virus is because we want to stay healthy all year round. So
Mhm.
today what we're going to talk about is how we try to stay healthy. And I'd like to go around. We were given the task by one of us to come up with three
Mom.
ways. Yes. To come up with 3 ways that we just work on staying healthy. So I want each of you to name one of those ways so we don't duplicate.
Oh,
So-
good. And then Tina can't take all of mine because I
Yes.
tried really hard to come up with 12 because if I had 12, there's no way you could all copy me.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So I'm pretty confident I know what Tina's going to say first. So go ahead, Tina. Let's hear it.
Well, now that I can only do one, I might change my mind.
Okay.
Oh, then I'll
Well,
steal yours.
Well, one at a
You better
time,
say
right?
it or I'm stealing
Yep.
it. Yeah, one at a
Just
time.
One at a time. We're gonna come around.
Okay.
Yep.
So wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Yes.
Hand washing is the number one way to prevent the spread of disease that has ever been discovered in the history of the world. Warm soap and water. And if you think you need lessons in how to wash your hands, I have been trained professionally since I went through the medical training to be a medical assistant. So I have found a graphic and we are going to post it. And it has complete instructions from start to finish how to wash your hands properly.
Wow.
Did you guys ever like use a public restroom and then feel like the other people at the sink were judging your hand washing skills? You feel like you have to
I
be
judge.
extra hand
I'm
wash. Yes,
sorry.
see, I knew it. Those who are standing there really scrubbing and stuff, and then you're kind of like up in your own game because you see them getting in between the fingers and all that stuff there.
Wow. I
Mhm.
try not to look at anybody when I'm in a public bathroom.
Yeah.
I try to get in and out as fast as possible.
No eye
Yeah.
contact.
Right? I'm not
Okay,
here.
so Jennifer, Tina right now is teacher's pet. She's got the graphics and everything. So what do you have for us?
Okay, so mine is more the list I made was more holistic. I thought we were going to present this differently, and I was going to ask to go last. Because I don't have the expertise that Tina does. I don't have a medical background, but for me, the ways that I try to stay healthy, one of the main ways is to get enough sleep. People, you guys tease me because 8 o'clock's my bedtime. If you guys talk to me after 8, I'm pretty goofy.
Well, let me scribble that one off my list.
Oh, but I know when I'm not getting enough sleep, I can't focus right. I don't feel good. Everything else is affected, and I am more apt to get sick if I'm not getting enough sleep. So I know we have a lot on our plates, ladies and gentlemen, because we do have some men that listen to this. We just need to make sure that we make sleep a priority. That's
Very good. Very good. I like it. Okay, Jamie.
All right, I'm going to go with this one, which I believe may be controversial because it seems the advice to quarantine people is counterintuitive to this, but I say open your windows and air out your house.
Yeah.
We've all been breathing the same nasty, dead skin, dust-filled air for months and months now, and especially if you live in a wintertime climate where you've been only having, the furnace running, you need to open up and let some fresh air into those rooms.
That's really good advice. There was a couple years ago that my girls kept passing the flu around. We just could not get rid of being sick. And I had sanitized everything, rubbed everything down. And finally I just said, had the girls put coats on, winter coats on, and we opened everything up. And then when we couldn't stay anymore, we got in the car, we went for a drive, and then came back and closed anything up, and we drove around some more while the house heated back up. And that was what made the difference. We finally started getting better. Crazy.
All right,
good.
Rhonda, what's your first tip?
Okay, my first tip is, all right, I think I've mentioned that I'm on the keto diet several
Dang
times.
it. Darn it.
Yes.
We
Okay.
should have done this like a bingo game. If you have
We
this on your
should.
card.
Can we start over? Let's do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm all out of ideas now. 'Cause
Yes.
You guys have taken all mine.
Okay, so the reason is not just because of weight loss or whatever, but sugar actually changes the acidity in your bloodstream, and it makes it a good environment for viruses to live. And so if you take the sugar out of your diet or get it as low as possible, especially the white sugar and corn syrup and all that, then it goes a long way toward letting your body help itself and keep yourself healthy. So that's my first one. Tina?
Well, I'm going to piggyback off your first one.
Okay.
And say that my second one is it's not just the sugar, but refined, highly processed foods
Mhm.
and trans
The chemicals.
fats and, all that stuff that they put on our foods, and a healthy diet full of fresh, from the earth kind of stuff
Mhm.
that's not been processed is so much better than for you. Lots of fruits and vegetables will help you to build your immune system.
I've gotten sick so much less since I started. I've been on keto for 2 years. I've been keto now. I've had some days that I have not
Mhm.
been so keto, but when I can feel the difference. So yeah,
Mhm.
everything, whole foods, unprocessed.
Shop the
sugar.
perimeter of the grocery store.
Yeah, it's a great
And
advice.
then when you have to go buy the boxed and the canned stuff, I always try to look at the ingredients. The fewer ingredients, the better. And I want to be able to pronounce everything and know what it is. If there's something in there I can't pronounce and I don't know what it is, I'll look for another brand. For instance, when I buy peanut butter, I buy the brand. When you look at the ingredients, there's only one thing on the list: peanuts. So
Yeah,
that's
me
just...
too.
And my health has really improved, like other than female issues.
Aging things, right?
Yeah, you can't fix with diet.
We got some positive feedback going on. Sage says yes, 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 and yes. Maria says yes to all of this. Sage also said a little bit earlier, she said, this podcast feels like a warm hug.
Aw.
Aw.
Yeah.
We're
Aw,
Olaf. We like
are.
warm hugs.
it just melts us.
Okay, Jennifer, number 2.
My number 2 was going to be keto.
Uh,
So, because I really do believe strongly that what you put in your body affects everything else. I'm not saying that keto is the right thing for everyone. So I guess that'll be my number 2, is that figuring out what works for you. Some people need to be dairy free. I have a daughter that looks like we have to be dairy free for her and whatever. So, I guess taking care of yourself and making yourself a priority. As a working mom, this is my job. As a working mom, like, I'm not the priority. I make everyone else a priority, and we need to make sure have time for ourselves, because
Mhm.
there's been a lot of times I've ignored my health because there just isn't time, and that's not a good thing either.
Yep, you're right.
So,
Jamie, what do you got?
I got a good one.
yay. Always.
Replace your toiletries. New toothbrush, new eyeliner, new
Oh.
lipsticks, because those are all harboring bunches of cootie bugs. And if you haven't changed your eyeliner since you were wearing blue eyeliner and blue mascara in high school, you are well beyond the time that you need to
know?
replace, because little creepy crawlies are just crawling all over that stuff. So everyone in your house gets a new toothbrush, and treat yourself to some new cosmetics, ladies. Make sure you freshen that stuff up pretty frequently.
That's fantastic. That is a really great tip. And also, how
Mhm.
did you know that I used to wear blue eyeliner? And I should have.
Oh, you
Guilty.
kind of have like, you might as well be wearing a sign around your neck. Both of
Oh,
you.
yeah.
So-
Okay.
I can't believe that electric blue mascara hasn't come back. Like, all
I
the
know,
LED
it's
stuff
so
going around,
amazing.
that was the coolest. Like, and it didn't last very long. Maybe there was chemicals in it that we should
I'll
put on our
never
eyes.
forget.
Oh,
There was a
maybe.
girl I went to school with. Her name was Sarah Prout, and she really rocked the blue eyeliner and mascara. And then I tried it immediately. Someone was like, "Why are you wearing that blue eyeliner?" And it just squashed me. I just was like,
And
"I'll never be as cool as Sarah."
They were just
No.
jealous.
Yeah, and you have no idea how many people asked her the exact same question.
Right. And she was confident enough to be like, "'Cause I like it."
Yeah, right. Okay, so I am piggybacking off of yours because my second one is
Wow.
keep your bathroom clean. Keep it spotless,
Mhm.
especially through the winter, because that's where all the great stuff happens,
Yeah.
from the sick people and from the healthy people.
Very
And
true.
so if you just get rid of those germs right there, that's cutting a bunch of them off at the pass. So get the Lysol, get your toilet scrubbed, the floors, just keep it nice and clean.
Okay, are we going to call this one the bonus round? Because I don't know if Tina and Jennifer, they both look like they're trying to think of another tip. Do you've got
No,
one,
I do.
Jennifer?
I
You have
have
one?
one.
What about you,
Okay.
Tina?
Lightning round,
Okay,
Tina, go
well,
ahead.
my original list I had get a good night's sleep because I had sleep apnea. I have sleep apnea, and I spent a long time not getting any sleep. But I decided to go with, when I was a kid, I grew up in Alaska, and my mother never turned the heat over 65, and we played outside every single day. Every single day we played outside. If it was dark in the winter with snow, we played outside. We had little flashlights, like we went out there. And I never missed a day of elementary school for being sick.
Nice.
Kindergarten
Wow.
through 6th grade. So my tip is turn your thermostat down. If it's over 70, you are a breeding ground for germs.
Wow.
Good point.
And spend some time out in the fresh air every day.
Awesome.
I like it. Jen?
Before we move on to my next one, Sage says blue eye products are all the rage around here, even mascara.
Oh,
So
yay!
maybe it hasn't caught up with us here in the States. That's pretty cool. So, all right. So my final one is not so much about flu and cold season. It is all more about general health in general as a writer, because there are certain things that if you are a writer, especially for long term, if this is your career, there are certain medical problems that writers tend to have. Tendinitis. No, wait, what is it with the wrists?
Yeah, carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel.
Ganglion
Back problems. So this should have been my number one, but what I suggest is somehow creating a standing desk. You see them online and they are pretty darn expensive, but this is what I did. I don't know if you can see, if I turn, now you're going to see how messy my office area is. Okay, I have these things on there. Underneath here is a hospital table that I can pop up, and then my window's here and I can look out at it. So
yeah, and those are going to be real cheap on, like a resale site or something like that.
On Amazon, brand new, $50. I got this, lucked out. Salvation Army. Somebody donated this to Salvation Army. I got it for $20, and it was a little loose. My husband fixed it. Game changer, because I stand at the window and I stand there. You can also put one of these over top of a treadmill, which is what I'm looking for now, so that I can and you put it on as slow as you can and you slowly walk while you write.
Can you film the first time that you do it, please?
I know. I'm not exactly the most coordinated person. I will admit that, but this is my goal. My goal is, it'll probably be when I do social media and things like that I don't have to be creative and concentrating on that, so I can concentrate on my feet a little bit. And then when you are sitting down, try to have a second monitor. This was a gift from a friend. I have a second monitor up here that I have on top of a crate organizer thing, so that it's up high, and then my laptop will be on the desk, so that I'm typing down here but I'm looking up, so you can see the difference, that I'm looking this way, but when I'm on my laptop I'm down like this, and then that causes neck problems for me.
I'm really glad, Jennifer, because I wondered if anybody was going to mention intentional movement as a writer, because I didn't want that to be my number 3 one. So I'm really glad that you're pointing it out, that people need to be mindful of how much they're sitting.
You would be surprised, I think, how much, if you had a walking desk, you'd be surprised about how much better you feel, and just walking super slow, how much exercise you would get in doing that. And I think that you will also notice a huge difference if you can sit up straight and you concentrate on your posture for long-term health. This might not help you avoid the flu or any virus that's floating around now, but it will help you long-term.
And I have a cozy desk. You can look that up on Amazon.
Mhm.
It's like this contraption that gets my laptop off of my desk and holds it up about 1.5 feet above the desk. So I'm actually like looking straight at my screen when I have my laptop on my.
And you have a separate keyboard, right?
I do.
That's similar to what I do. So instead of having my laptop up here and a separate keyboard, my laptop is down here hooked to the second monitor, which is up there. So it's the same thing. You could do it either way. That's a really inexpensive way because you can get like USB keyboards for next to nothing, $20 or $30.
$10 is what I think for
$10.
mine.
Yeah, that's great.
I think I should point out to Sage and Maria that we are in the United States and we use Fahrenheit. So when I said over 70 degrees, I meant Fahrenheit. So she was saying over 20 was hot to her. So
okay, Jennifer, I have a suggestion for you too. If you're going to be standing while you're working, or this is for anybody who's standing and working, you could play a sort of a writing game similar to a drinking game. Every time your characters kiss, you could do squats. Or every time they throw a dish at each other, you could do a jumping jack.
I would be buff.
I
would be so buff by the end of the book.
That is my challenge for you.
I'd rather be fat. Thank you very much.
That is so a meme. That is so a meme for our Pinterest page waiting to happen. So waiting to happen.
It ain't happening here. We ain't doing no squats.
Well, you don't write romance, so for you it had to be every time someone like dies or.
Yes.
Well, okay, I'll go with the kissing one. Every time someone kisses in my book, I will kiss squat. There we go. I'm on board.
It's already working.
All right. So Sage says, yes, raising your monitor eye level and using a separate keyboard is so important for treating eye, neck, and wrist strain. Yeah, the eye strain too. Think about it. Like when we're so close to our computers, that's not good. You can have have it farther away so that like it's not so much of that. Plus, blue blocking glasses. You can get those so cheap on Amazon now. I never thought about that. That's another one.
You can get filters for your screen too. An app that filters your screen.
The glasses, though, you can use with your cell phone, too. They're like $12 for cheap ones. So
I think I'll be making a purchase.
I have an app on my phone that changes it. That changes the light.
Yeah, my Galaxy came with, you got to choose which one, but it's still, I think it still probably gives it. I don't know. I'm always a conspiracy theorist.
All right, Jamie, we need to hear your number 3 because I know it's going to be good.
Okay, so here's what I think too, and I think that this should start immediately, that you should train anybody in your sphere of influence the appropriate way to cover their sneeze. My preferred method is lifting the shirt and sneezing down into your shirt.
I do that.
Before I did that, I used to do into the elbow. But then I noticed that I don't always have long sleeves on, even though it is wintertime, and then I don't like sneeze all over my arm. So if you're wearing a long sleeve into the elbow is okay, or you have them sneeze right down the neckline of their own shirt, always, every time. Even if you think it's just allergies, you're launching your own spittle into the air, is going airborne, and it's just gross. So start training anyone that you think would listen to you, your children especially. And it was so funny. I saw a meme and it said, the CDC says, don't worry, you can only spread the virus that shall not be named by someone sneezing directly into your face. And then it was like preschool teachers everywhere. And just they're making this face like that is my life. Like, because little preschoolers especially are guilty of this, because I don't think anybody's really taken the time to just notice that they just kind of sneeze out into the universe and are not aware. So anybody
working for pediatricians too.
Yes, please just train people in your life the appropriate way to contain their sneeze. It will keep you healthier, and it will keep anybody that comes into contact with your family healthier as well.
So how do you keep from flashing the neighborhood when you're lifting your shirt up?
No, you go here from your neck.
Oh, from your neck. I thought you were
no. Oh my goodness.
I think I'll just carry a handkerchief.
No, I do believe that
handkerchief.
Yeah, I do believe my husband would prefer Tina's method when he's around me.
Well,
yeah.
I couldn't see her neckline, and I thought she was pulling the bottom of her shirt up.
I think Rhonda's wearing her handkerchief.
I am.
Yes.
I am. Okay, so
Maria,
that was a great tip. Oh, go ahead.
Maria has a tip real quick before you go, Rhonda.
Okay.
She says, be careful when you're around little kids because they just pass on everything. So the point of
Yeah.
church. Yeah, church is one of those things that like we're still going to go to, but yeah, we have to be.
Yeah. When was the last time someone went in that nursery with some Lysol? I mean, that's a blessing that you could do for your own church nursery, or find some scouts in your troop that need some service hours, or young people who can go in there and just wipe everything with a Lysol wipe. I mean, it will just take like an hour, and you will keep so many people who are volunteering their time to come in with those munchkins. You don't want them to go down sick, because then you're going to have to be in there watching them. Just kidding. But you want to try to keep everybody healthy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you have to send your kids to the public school, which I like to call the petri dish,
Yeah.
you really need to teach them ways to keep from the getting things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wash your hands and sneeze into your shirt.
Okay, so my last tip is just to give herbs a chance. There's so many herbs that kill viruses. They say there's no way to kill viruses, but as a matter of fact, elderberry and oregano oil, they both kill viruses, among other things. So that is my soapbox.
Where do you get oregano oil? You've mentioned that before. Is it an essential oil like you would buy other essential oils, or no? Okay, where do you find that?
Essential oils you cannot take internally.
I get it at Stavros Brothers Pizza. It's great on the crust. No,
yes. You would be very sorry if you did that. No,
I get mine at Walmart in the supplement section.
They have oregano oil now?
That's where I got mine, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Dale's has the highest quality. That's closest to you, Jennifer.
Right.
I've heard
Dale's
that
is an all natural, like a health food store that we have here locally for us. So like maybe Whole Foods for other people too. So
I like the ideal of give herbs a chance ever since I read about how, people will make thieves oil now, but originally it was a mixture of herbs that the clergy would actually stuff into their area where I just taught you to sneeze, and they would go around and tend to the sick people, and they wouldn't get sick because they had these packets of particular herb blend that they would wear, like sachets, I guess you would call them. And they have germ fighting properties. So if the thieves, they call it, I don't know why, I guess thieves would wear it so they wouldn't get sick as they were burglarizing.
Of course Rhonda knows why.
No, because during the plague, that's when these thieves, they were snake oil salesmen basically. They bundled thyme, sage, rosemary, and I think there was a fourth one in there. And they did not get sick. They were, anyway, that's the basis of it. They were actual thieves.
Huh. It might have been partially too because they were around it so much, because they're that maybe like they grew an immunity that others, I don't know. But yeah, I want to try some oregano oil.
And even if you do get sick, you'll smell like pizza. So.
Yeah. Win-win.
But
when I'm intermittent fasting, will this make me hungry? That's the only.
No, you will not really be interested in Italian food for a while.
Okay, so a couple things going on in chat. Let's read these real quick. We're going back to our church conversation. She said, especially if Maria says, especially if people do peace, if you guys do that in your churches.
Oh, the passing of the peace. We have to shake everybody's hand and all that. I saw a meme where it's like, we prefer jazz hands. Hi. Hi. So happy to see you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know if it's worldwide, but the Catholic churches around here have suspended communion. Our church does communion not on a regular basis, so I don't think we're going to be doing it. Wow, but I heard that on the news that some churches have suspended having it.
Is there anybody who feels like we might swing a little bit too extreme in the direction of keeping everybody healthy, and suddenly this will be the only way that we could talk to anybody ever again, is the way the four of us are communicating right now, because we're all just so scared that we're going to get this or that disease or something, and we're all gonna, succumb to the fear and panic, and we're all just gonna be isolated in our own little worlds.
The little introvert inside of me is excited at that.
I know.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry, Rhonda, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my tip number 4 is do not let the media tell you what to be afraid of.
I know more people will die from the regular flu. statistically.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
more dangerous than this.
Right, and that's why we're having this episode, is because it just brought to mind, things like changing out your toothbrush. When was the last time you thought about, well, probably the last time you were vomitous sick, but you're probably not thinking about it on the daily. So why not take a moment to inventory your entire life to see how you could stay healthy in general, not just because of this pandemic or whatever that's on the horizon. So
Mhm.
Mhm. Yep.
Maria says doing the piece with jazz hands sounds
agreed.
amazing.
So agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything with jazz hands is kind of amazing.
We could get
Everything is
into,
better
like,
with
some
jazz hands.
kind of spiritual dance to go with it. Like,
Right. Welcome to the podcast.
no, I meant in church.
Time for us to share. I know, but I was just like,
Oh my word.
Jazz hands.
Okay. All right. Are we done with this topic?
I think so.
Can we move on to the feeding
Yes.
the backs?
Yay!
I need to screenshot. Where's my screenshot button? Okay.
Oh, you can
All right.
go back later and watch it.
Like I'm voguing now because I'm trying to make my hands fit in the box.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice.
Oh,
you guys are
brother.
great. Okay. All right. So anyway, we're moving on. It is now time for feeding the backs. So if anybody out there doesn't know, this is when the four of us, before the podcast, we sat down and we sprinted for 15 minutes. This is completely unedited. We got our sprint title right before we started, so we didn't have time to think about it. So all of our feedback is going to be positive and friendly and happy. So would anybody like to volunteer to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Please
The prompt.
read the prompt. Thank you.
Yes, the prompt is, it was the worst time to get sick. That is the prompt. And here's my story. Catherine slid her sleeve across her upper lip for the fourth time that afternoon. Mira crinkled her nose and used the end of her pencil to push the box of Kleenex closer to her partner's side of the table. A chronic eraser nibbler, she immediately regretted the decision and made a note to swap this number 2 Ticonderoga out with a clickable pencil the moment they were back in the classroom. Which won't be for another 45 minutes, she noted, glancing at the white-faced sentry mounted on the wall. Why, oh why, had she chosen to leave her pencil box behind? This is all your fault, she thought, glaring afresh at her unsuspecting project partner, who had moved on immediately post-nose swipe and was busy using a ruler and her own well-chewed pencil to section their poster board into 4 equal quadrants. Let's hold hands on the way to the library, Mira had suggested at lineup. I'll need to carry my pencil box, Catherine had protested. You don't need a whole pencil box. Mira's eyes, which had always reminded Catherine of Cookie Monsters, big and stalky, white and round as ping pong balls, rolled dramatically. Just a pencil and a ruler, which I have. She flipped her wrist, making the ruler flap in the air until it wobbled like rubber before Mira's unsurprised eyes. Even a kindergarten baby knew that trick. I really wish I had my pencil box, Catherine said now, generously offering Mira the chance to apologize. Should have brought it, Mira said, not even looking up from her work. Catherine was stunned. She did not even know how to respond. You were, she tried. You said, she started again. Look, Catherine. I don't know why she's calling her Catherine. Her name is Mira. Anyway, look, Catherine, even I know better than to listen to what I say all of the time. Mira's Cookie Monster ping pong balls were once again set in motion. When will you ever learn? So here is a perfect example of how these are not edited because names changed and everything like that.
That's
But
perfect.
I hope you get the point.
Her Cookie Monster ping pong balls.
That was the best line I think I've heard all year.
I just love this girl's eyes already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that line, then the white-faced sentry. I like that a
Mm.
lot.
Chronic eraser chewer.
Mm-hmm.
That tells a lot about a person right there. Like right there, you tell us part of this person's personality without telling us this person's personality. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love how she was bouncing the ruler.
Yeah.
Like, we've all done that, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, there's so
appreciate
many
that.
ways. There's so many ways in this that you made it really personal to everybody, if that's possible. Just the Ticonderoga pencils. That's my pencil of choice. So I immediately felt attached just from that one little thing. Oh, what'd she do?
Thank you.
But-
Yes, I thought it was important that she know what kind of pencil she uses.
Yeah.
It's her
Yeah.
brand.
Does anyone else love the fact that Rhonda has a favorite brand of pencils?
Yes.
Like, that's just so Rhonda. Like,
I have a favorite brand of pencils.
you do?
It's like Ticonderoga,
Yes,
right?
Yes, because when you homeschool, you go through a lot of pencils if you do not buy the right ones.
Yes.
Because they will break every 10 minutes, I guarantee you. So
And they
just
write the
go
best.
ahead and buy the good ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to give a shout out to poor Maria, whose laptop is crashing and giving her fits.
Aw.
Tech problems are
Aw.
terrible. Rhonda had tech problems this week, but fortunately it was just your cord, right, Rhonda?
Yes, thankfully. Oh my word. It was a panic attack.
Tech issues are
Oh,
like the
gosh.
worst.
And Maria, it didn't save for you. I don't know what word processing you're using.
Yeah, maybe it'll
but-
pop right back up when you turn it
Maybe.
on.
Aw, poor thing.
Oh. All right. Well, thank you for the kind feedback. Thanks. And
Oh,
again,
so
I'm
you
going to
took favorite-
publish this with the mistakes still in it so everyone can see what happens in 15 minutes. So
Good. Sage's favorite brand is Stadler, so I'm thinking she's an
Ooh.
artist.
Oh,
Ooh.
Okay, so I got to give, for drawing, yes, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh,
didn't know
I
they
feel
had
like
regular
I'm not in
pencils.
on the fancy pencil club because I've never heard of that brand. So maybe I've seen them. Do they come in like a
Probably.
fancy box with like a fancy S on the front of them?
Mine
Like
are
you see them in
black.
art class.
You know how pencils are yellow? Mine are black, but from
Mm.
that brand. So, but maybe
Mine
they
come
have
in
them.
like a tin thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, if your pencil
Okay.
comes in a tin box, it better be good.
Maria says, I
Yeah.
got it back and added a couple sentences to finish
Yay!
it. Yay!
Please share it with us on social media. So we can read
Yeah.
it.
You too, Sage. I saw earlier that you had said that you were able to do it before the podcast. So that's awesome.
I
Good job,
volunteer to
Jennifer,
go
getting the
next, by
prompt
the way.
out there early.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
You're going to go next, Tina?
I volunteer.
Tina. Yep.
Let's get this out of the way. Okay. It was the worst time to get sick. Morning had dawned thick and sultry, and a sheen of sweat coated Lily's forehead. One good thing, at least, now the pretense of having to wear thick petticoats and lace bodices was behind them. She wouldn't be spending today in the drawing room on a settee with a fan, trying to breathe inside the latest in straitjacket fashion. She dug through the chest until she found a lightweight cotton dress. It was simple, yellow with tiny red flowers. The colors were faded with time, and when she held it to her nose, she could still smell her beloved Hetty. Lily tried not to think about the woman who had taken care of her since she was a babe in the nursery, whose calloused leather hands had put her hair in ribbons and braids and helped her get dressed in frilly frocks and sang the spiritual songs of her people at night when Lily couldn't sleep. She tried not to think about her bullet-ridden body laying beneath the dirt in the family cemetery. As she pulled the dress over her head, a tear slipped down her cheek. She brushed it away. Of course, Grandpa would never approve of Hetty being buried in the family cemetery, but he wasn't here to stop Lily from doing it, was he? Lily took a deep breath as she pulled her long dark hair into a bun at the back of her neck, a simple style for a complicated time. The boom of a cannon echoed from the north as Lily made her way downstairs and out the back door. Elijah was in the corral, brushing down the thoroughbreds, sweat stains already soaking through his rough cotton jersey and adding to the sheen of his dark skin. Stopping at the garden gate, Lily wiped the sweat from her brow and tilted her ear toward the north, studying the distant popping of the guns to gauge if they were closer today than yesterday. There was no way to tell, but she listened anyway. Prissy popped her head up from behind a row of beans. Almost got the beans done, Miss Lily. Then I'll start on the next row. 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
So good, Tina.
How did you do that in 15 minutes? That is so
I don't
complete.
know.
I know how, because her mind and heart and everything has been into this story this week because of some things that you discovered in your own personal life, right? You want to share that, Tina?
I was doing some stuff on Ancestry.com with my biological mother's family, and I found out my fourth great grandpa lived in Munfordville, Kentucky, and he owned 6 slaves. And his son, Pascal, fought for the Union Army. So my head has just been so full of ideas. Like, I want to write a story about that. Like, the father owns slaves and lives. Kentucky was a contested state, so they weren't really in the Confederacy and they weren't really in the Union. And so there was a lot of these situations where families were on opposite sides. So father and son on opposite sides, it's got my mind going with story ideas.
Yeah, and you had already started a sort of Civil War story, and this is just kind of resuscitated that idea, hasn't it?
And it fit right in. The whole idea that I had before fit right into the real life. It was just kind of bizarre. Yeah. So Lily is the actual name of my third great grandma, Pascal's daughter.
That's so awesome.
So
I love like using names of ancestors and family members in my books too, which you guys already know that. But yeah, Sage Gordon says, "Oh, Tina," and then she said, "I am wrecked."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what we always want, right? As authors and as writers, we want our stories to evoke emotions, and that did that, Tina.
Thank you.
And I really like about this person that she really does not appreciate the straitjacket of her wardrobe, her customary cultural attire. I really relate to this person in a very personal way. Yeah.
All right, Jen, would you like to go?
Sure. I don't think I have a choice, do I?
No.
Okay. It was the worst time to get sick. Not only did Renee have a huge project due at work, but her parents were planning to come for a visit this weekend, and her house was currently the physical representation of her life, a wreck. She had padded this week with plenty of time to get her house in order, if not her life, before they arrived. And that was all before her boss stuck his head in her office this morning. "Hey, I think I might have forgotten to tell you, but the meeting with Wright Auto Partners was moved up to this morning. That won't be a problem, will it?" Wright Auto Partners, Renee's biggest client, had just recently made a shift in management. The car dealership's owner, Al Wright, had recently decided to retire and hand over the reins to his son, Maxwell Wright, who immediately asked to meet with WJEN to discuss their future with the station. This meeting was huge, not only for the financial future of the station, but also for Renee's financial future as well. If Wright Auto decided to cease advertising with them, Renee's income, sparse as it was, would be cut in more than half. "Today," Renee gurgled, phlegm sticking to the back of her throat. She took a big swig of her hot tea. "But I haven't even pulled all the numbers yet. I don't have anything prepared." She had worked all week, working on new sales, assuming she would have next week to finalize the meeting prep work before next Friday. "When did you find out?" "Monday," her boss said. "I'm sure I emailed you." Monday was 3 days ago, and Renee knew for a fact that she had not received an email from her boss. And by the look on his face, he knew as well. "Don't worry about it. Just grab some files. You know Max Wright's going to be swayed far more by your looks than your statistics." Renee groaned inwardly. She had heard the rumors about Maxwell Wright, the fact that her boss, who was about the biggest sexist pig Renee had ever met in her life, had as well, did not bode well for this meeting. "I'm not presenting myself for his approval," she said through gritted teeth. Her boss laughed. "Yeah, right. Just like your looks didn't get you this job to begin with." He turned to go, then turned. "But seriously, put on some lipstick or something. Even you can't get away with that au naturel look."
Oh my gosh.
Renee's stomach lurched, but she wasn't certain if it was from the flu or not.
Is this like secret revenge on your doctor or something? Like, is something really bad going to happen to this guy?
No, I don't know.
Wow.
But I'm sure that Maxwell Wright's going to be devastatingly handsome and misunderstood. And no matter how gross she looks today, there's going to be some spark. Sure of it.
So this is a spark for a new story then?
Must be. I didn't know, but yep.
Oh,
looks
okay.
like it.
I mean, who knows? Maybe your baseball girl, maybe this is her day job or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? One of your already in the works sort of people.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Did you guys notice?
That was one of the most descriptive sentences I've heard in a long time.
Which one?
The one where she gurgled her response.
Oh, yeah. The phlegm. Yes, because you forget that she's coming down with the sickness. And then you remind us, you don't say, "Oh, she felt even sicker." You just tell us that she has a phlegmy way of speaking.
I really wanted to take a drink when you said that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thanks, because that's exactly, even though we were sprinting, but that was exactly my train of thought was like, she doesn't sound sick right now. Like I threw that in there. So yeah, I
Very good.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're saying
Okay.
it without saying it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we have time for my 250 words now.
Yay.
So, all right. It was the worst time to get sick. I tried to stop the sneezing, but they just kept coming one after another. It lasted so long, my musically inclined mind began keeping rhythm along with the nasal hurricanes. A chew, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, a chew. My dance queen daughters would be so proud of my perfect 8 count. Carol, the high-strung germaphobe working in the archives with me, looked horrified. She shielded her delicate facial orifices with the file in her hand, which muffled her voice and made her already difficult to understand accent even more awkward for me. "It's gotten you too, hasn't it?" she asked, slowly backing away from my corner of the room. "Oh, no," I said. "When I pulled this box down, I got a face full of dust. I'm sure it's just my allergies." I hoped I wasn't lying to her. The face full of dust was true, but I'd been feeling stuffy for a couple days now. I just didn't want to admit it. I'd finally gotten some momentum going on this project, and I couldn't afford the luxury of downtime right now. Mind over matter. Carol pushed her ever-present flask of Purell to me with a 4-foot yardstick from the advertising collection near her. I thanked her and made a show of rubbing a good amount all over my hands and up to my elbows. It seemed to satisfy her enough to approach me with a can of Lysol and spray the area around me. That's it. As far as I got.
I love it. And you totally hit one of the tips for staying healthy that we had forgotten to talk about, which yeah, I can't remember.
The flask of Purell. Like, awesome. Who would ever think to even call it that? But when the minute you said it, like it was in my mind, yep, it's a flask. Like I could just like that was just so good.
Mhm.
I love
The
it.
same mind that came up with herd of crabs came up with flask of
Yeah.
Hurricane of sneezes is also great. Nasal hurricanes, yeah.
Oh yeah. Nasal hurricanes. That's gonna be my new term whenever someone sneezes.
I'm so glad that there's somebody else who would start to think about how they're sneezing to the rhythm of a song. Because sometimes I just think that I'm from another planet. So it's really good to feel relatable to something. Thank you, Rhonda, for
You're
making me
welcome.
feel a little less alone in life.
Oh, good. I'm so glad for that.
I really connect with the girl lady with the 4-foot yardstick and the Lysol can of Lysol. Like she doesn't care if she hurts your feelings. She's just gonna do it anyway.
Yep.
Get out the
That's right.
yardstick and push the Purell over.
Very nice.
All right. So thank you, ladies, for all that wonderful writing. That was a lot of fun today. But now it's time for our big announcement. Are you ready? Okay.
Drum
I'm
roll.
just going to read the little press release that I have sitting here in front of me. Okay. Yes. We've decided to rebrand the Accountability Corner to match better with the themes of our podcast. Just like we start our episode with a "What's Up?", we're going to end with another trip around the virtual roundtable and ask each of our hosts, "What's next?" Whether it's making ourselves publicly accountable for a professional goal we've set, promoting an upcoming event, or just letting everyone know what shenanigans you'll be getting up into in the long days between now and the next time we gather. So, who would like to share the first "What's next"?
Jennifer looks pretty ready.
She does. She does.
All right. Well, just real quick too, I want to talk about why we decided to do this, because we are all like, we've always said that we are here to help other Christian writers on their journey, right? And everyone's journey looks different and everyone's at a different spot in their journey. So there are some times that any one of the four of us would come to Accountability Corner with nothing to report. And we just felt like we had to like really dig for something, because some weeks are longer than others or shorter or slower. Like there'll be times that maybe we were still editing one chapter. It doesn't mean we weren't working in our career. It doesn't mean we weren't moving forward, but there wasn't really anything to report. So by changing this, we hope that that helps encourage each one of you that's out there too, to be able to like see your progress. Maybe you're not headed towards publication. Maybe right now you're headed towards creating a blog or just whatever. So that's kind of where we're at with this. So I am headed towards publication. So for me, what's next is I am still working on Phoebe's story. I had a really good week this week.
Yay.
In that, I wrote a couple of new chapters, which I know I'm like trying to make this story shorter, but the new chapters are replacing old chapters, and based a whole lot on some reading that I've been doing lately. I have this book. I haven't got really into it a whole lot yet. Murder in Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
Ooh.
And then clearly this one is already Prohibition in the Upper Peninsula. And let me just tell you, Will has a lot of adventures he's going to be going on now. So this coming up, what's coming up for me is I'm working on adding more of Will's career. He's a cop. So I'm including more of that into there. And also for my career, I'm a part of a promo this week where it's full of Christian authors and Christian romance authors. So if you are a fan of Christian romance, find me on social media and you'll find the link, and you can get there's like almost 60 or over 60 books that you can download, and they're all cheap, $2.99 and below. So if you are a fan and you're looking for some new reads and some good deals, then come find me on social media.
Sounds good.
That's where I'm at.
All right. Who's next? Jamie?
All right. What's next for me? That's a good question. I'm very pleased to report that my daughter has granted me access to what she's writing for one of her classes. So I'm currently doing some edits for her, which she's very new to this whole process. And so as I was kind of trying to tell her what I was going to do, she's like, no, Mom, don't change anything. I'm like, you don't understand. They're just suggestions that come up in the document. You can erase them or not pay attention to them or whatever. But I got through her first chapter, and I've got to say, mom pride or whatever, she's doing a great job with her little idea. I love it. And I really shouldn't treat it like a little idea, because really she writes with a grown-up vision, and her feelings are very real, and it's really kind of neat to get a little peek inside of her creative mind. So I'm having fun doing that this week, and I hope that it will be the beginning of a beautiful partnership. Hopefully she doesn't look at my edits and go, oh, Mom, you're the meanest person ever. But I did also, she did ask for the compliments too. So I went in there, made sure to praise the parts that, didn't need whatever commas and stuff. Because that's what she's looking for, really, is for me to fix her commas. But wahaha.
Do you think that if you could show her one of my chapters that you edited, like show her the first one, show her the suggestions you made, and like find a real rough one maybe.
Yeah.
And then show her the final product, that maybe she would see that like this is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe she wouldn't balk at it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll send her stuff. Here's the thing. I send her stuff, and then whether she receives is another question, because I don't even know she's going to open these edits that I do for her. Basically, I begged her to let me read it, and then she was like, well, as you're reading, can you fix commas? I'm like, no, if I'm reading, I'm reading. If I'm editing. So what do you want? Because if I'm reading, I just want to enjoy. I don't want to have to worry about a comma. I don't want to have to, So if she wants the periods and the tense changes and all that, she's got to get all the rest that goes with it. But I don't know if she'll open it since she knows what's coming. So Riley, if you're listening, go check your documents. All right.
Sage says her what's next is to get all the prep done so my book launch goes off without a hitch next Saturday.
Yay.
Those are exciting times, book launches.
Yeah.
A book launch and a podcast launch so close together.
Yeah, very, very busy. And so I guess I'll kind of add that also to my what's next. It's almost like Jennifer's gotten a little bit excited about branding for the podcast, and we've all been having these little behind the scenes meetings about trying to figure out a way forward if we're going to start promoting and things like that. And it's really kind of got me back into sort of a business mode, I guess. I feel like I've kind of been on vacation since we moved into that house in Davison, Michigan. Like since we started the podcast, actually, I haven't really been my all 4-cylinder self sort of thing. And so I'm feeling like I'm kind of waking back up from a dormant season. So let's see what happens.
Great. That's awesome. So Tina, why don't you tell us what's up with you, or what's next, I should say.
What's next is I need to continue to work on the fixes that for the editing that Jamie did. Go through my manuscript, get that done so I can publish.
Very nice.
Maria's what's next is I'm almost into the last chapter of my 3rd novel. I would love to be done with
Wow.
editing it by the podcast next
Ooh.
week.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great. That's
looking
wonderful.
forward.
Awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to that. What's next week?
Yep. Okay, so I suppose I have to give my what's next too. So, what I am doing next is this week I'm going to be working on a few covers. I've got I've got my fiction and nonfiction in the works, and then I've also got somebody else's. I think you would have to say it's a nonfiction book. So I've got that cover to work on too, and then one for my mom's book, which she's going to accept whether she likes it or not.
Oh,
So
she's actually stalking. She's on here. She's made one comment or two.
Yeah,
so
she doesn't like oregano oil for some reason.
she?
I don't know what's her problem with
She
oregano
must have
oil, but she's
suggested
squawked
oregano
about
oil.
it.
Well, the first time
She said
suggested
that
Oh.
she's
might not have been a good experience for her.
Overdone it.
she said to get the
Yep.
pills, is what she said. So
Yes,
Oh.
if you don't want the taste, then yes, get the pills. So that's my what's next. What else am I doing? That's really what I'm going to focus on for this week. So, does anybody else have
and
anything
you're
else
going
to
to
add
do
before
some
we end?
consulting. You're going to do some
Oh!
consulting too for. Rhonda and I are going to get together this week and do a little work with each other for our individual projects. So I'm excited about that, to actually
Yep.
see you in person, Rhonda,
Yes, it is.
and do
Yeah.
jazz hands so we don't get sick. Hi.
Okay. Thank you for that promise.
Bring a yardstick
Yes.
and a can of Lysol.
All right, I will. Okay, so does anybody else have anything else to add before we end our podcast today?
No.
All right. I feel like I've got a little bit of a lag here. All right. Well, we're going to conclude our Christian Indie Writers podcast for this week. So until next week, may your pen be prolific, may your deadlines be met, and may all of your words honor Christ.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.